So one of Piaget's main contribution um, in terms of shifting the overall thought of how to approach learning with children in different stages of development. So in addition to um, him forming the four stages of development and cognition pertaining to specific stages of where the child was in terms of their age, he also really kind of opened our minds to the idea of inquiry, which is, I teach root words, prefixes, suffixes, and so we know that to inquire means to question, to, um, yeah, ask questions. And so that whole shift in thinking really has influenced the way that we approach education and kind of the learning process within the classroom. And so inquiry-based learning is allowing the students the freedom to ask their questions and then find their answers. And for me, as a second grade teacher, what that has looked like is to kind of give them the freedom to ask the questions that they have, let's say, about science. So we may get to liquids. We're studying liquids right now. And we talk about, the different properties of liquids, which some are very similar to other pieces of physical matter and other properties that describe other types of matter. But what have you wondered about liquids? What did you learn last year in first grade? What do you want to know right now? What could we learn and discover together? And I saw a really cool video in my research process that I'm going to link next to this. And it showed students that were in the pre-operational stage. So they didn't quite understand the logic between changing. One example was the size of the graham crackers, where the instructor received 2 graham crackers and the child received 1. And the child was asked if that was a fair, um, if the snacks were shared fairly. And the child said, no, you have 2, I have 1. And so she broke her graham cracker in 2 pieces. So essentially, she still has 1 square, and the instructor has 2 squares. And so she broke hers in half. And she said, now is it fair? And the child said, yeah, now it's fair. And really, if the child was in more of the concrete operational instead of the pre-operational stage, we would see they would understand the logic. No, you just broke mine in 2. You still have more. Your 2 pieces are bigger. And there were similar, they did it with liquids, changing the container of the liquid. And the student, when they saw them in like containers and that the liquids were level, in the students that were in the pre-operational stage said it's the same amount. Well, as soon as they poured the liquid into the taller vase, they compared the 2, and the student said, no, that one has more. And so kind of that use of logic and moving more into concrete understandings of things, you see that really show up in their ability to process information and make connections. So the point is letting them ask those questions and then explore different ways of measuring the liquids. And so maybe it's not just based on containers, but you give them a scale and they get to weigh it, figure out, oh my goodness, wait, these weigh the same, but this one looks bigger. Or, the same with graham crackers. Well, we teach fractions, and so that's a big part of teaching fractions. I cut up cookies for them and say, well, do you want 2/4 of a cookie, or would you like 1/2? And show them they're equal. They're both the same thing. Well, would you like 1/4, or would you like 1/3? well, initially they all say 1/4 until they see, oh, the third slice is larger. So, point being, we guide them, I think, as instructors, but really give them the opportunity to explore with real world objects like cookies or graham crackers or cups or, juice. And I think that's how they're able to assimilate what they know and then accommodate the new information.